the research that I've done with terpenes, if you introduce terpenes into your system, either prior or during consumption of those, you're going to receive up to about 75% of that. So you're getting almost double that. I have them take my CBD oil and anybody else's CBD oil. My CBD oil will blow anybody's out of the water due to the fact that I add in natural terpenes to my oils. I mean, I don't have anybody combating me except for the fact that they don't want to get busted by WADA or USADA. That's the biggest combat that I have, and the only way that I combat that is just to let them know that I guarantee they won't be flagged, and that I have fighters in two of the most premier organizations right now that are fighting and getting tested, and they're not getting flagged.
Now, you were also talking about people who have CTE should also try this. So, like, let's say for argument's sake, you have somebody like Gary Goodrich. He's one of these guys that has severe head injuries from fighting as long as he did and having being concussed or knocked out as many times as he did. How would taking this product help a guy like him who where the damage is already done?
Well, as I stated before, I truly believe that it helps regenerate. I have actually had progress with my brain injuries. When my brain leaks, and this is going to go with the CTE thing, so I'm kind of elongating it a little bit, but when my brain leaks, it creates pressure and it will actually kill cells out of my brain and they'll die off. And there's sections in my brain that are super dark on my scans. And since I've been taking CBD oil, those dark spots have actually lightened up. They're not fully black. They're starting to get like gray. What I believe it does is help regenerate your brain cells. I think it regenerates all your cells. It will help with, I had a buddy of mine had a meniscus tear. It helped with his meniscus tear. He didn't take any kind of supplements or any kind of medications except CBD oil, and then he did some rehabilitation. And he's torn them like 2 or 3 times, and it was the quickest recovery he's ever had. There's not enough research for me to tell you exactly how it works. I can just tell you what I've done. I believe it regenerates the cells. It's going to help with memory. I had a horrible short-term memory loss before I started taking CBD. It helps with migraines. It helps with stiffness in the neck and back. Anytime that you had any kind of contusions or anything with the brain, especially like any kind of trauma with the brain, you're going to have stiffness inside of your neck. It's just something that happens with the nerves. It takes those away. It takes stiffness out of your back away. It helps with posture. It's fucking crazy, Steve. It's fucking crazy.
Hey, man, like I said, when my mom fell and hurt herself Sunday when she was we were doing some yard work. So when I get that care package, I'm probably gonna tell her to take what you give me to see how she feels, because she hasn't really done anything, gotten out of her room, done anything since Sunday night. So.
She'll be doing the neighbor's yard after she takes this shit.
Hey, man. Well, that's what I want to hear. You know what I mean? If you could do that for her, just imagine what it does for these athletes who are freaking murdering themselves through 6 to 8 week training camps, getting ready for to punch people in the face.
Yeah, I mean, well. What's crazy is I've actually had a couple people. I posted a couple of things on the actual company page. I had a lady get a hold of me on eBay saying how much it helped her husband. He had severe pain, and she was a repeat customer. She came back and she bought one bottle a couple weeks ago, and then she came back and bought like 3 or 4 bottles bought me out of the flavor that I had, and. I posted that, and then I had another gentleman post a review over on his personal page about the product as well, saying how much it helped the pain in his back. So, I mean, a lot of companies would take information from their consumers and start targeting and be like, oh, this is a great painkiller. and start targeting that. But I'm not going to focus on one market. I believe if you have any condition, I don't give a shit if you have an eating disorder. I think CBD would cure it. But you have to it's going to sound like a religion, but you're going to have to believe it. You're going to have to think it, because your body has to heal itself. You ever been riding anywhere or been anywhere and feel like you might be getting sick, and then 2 days later you're sicker than a dog?
I think we've all been there at one point in time or another.
Yeah, you can. I believe you think it into the beliefs. Because I believe you can think things in beliefs. So if you think that you're going to get sick, your body gets sick. And I truly believe, and you can ask cancer patients that take this stuff. You know, they think, you know, like, oh, I'm going to beat, my grandfather beat colon cancer 3 times before it finally took him. And, you know, they're like, oh, I'm going to beat this, I can beat this, and they feel great. It's the chemo that beats them the fuck down. It takes their soul. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, it's not the cancer that kills them, it's the goddamn chemo. They don't want to go through it anymore because they don't want the chemo. And I believe if they could take a natural product and have the belief that they can beat this, that their body can cure itself.
Well, you know what's funny about what you were just talking about? Didn't Tommy Chong get like freaking melanoma and was dying when he was in prison for fucking having a dispensary? Comes back out, gets the CBD oil, and he's good to go. He beats melanoma like it's nothing.
Mhm.
And you know, if he would have went and did it the normal way, yeah, they'd have filled him up with freaking all kinds of nonsense.
Oh yeah,
he might not be here anymore.
Yeah, he would have been here because Big Pharma would have made sure that, you know, if he had good insurance, he's getting paid. I mean, look at Magic Johnson. You tell me anybody on Earth right now that's had AIDS for 40 years.
That is so true.
I mean, okay, since we're on the radio here and we're getting we got other people. I'm not only all about CBD. Like, I'm a realist. I call people on their bullshit. This world is fucked up with the way that people think.
I gotta say, man, I love your video yesterday with about the businessmen. You know, the
multi-level marketing.
Oh man, I was dying. I was loving that. Because it's true though, man. You know, when do you ever see Tony Robbins open his own damn business ever in his life? No, he doesn't. He's got corporate sponsors paying him to speak at these freaking these seminars and whatnot. Like he's the freaking, you know, he's the greatest businessman that we've ever seen in our entire life. He probably is, because he got all you knuckleheads to come out here to go listen to what he has to say. Mr.
Exactly.
I don't own the business.
He's a good salesman. He's a good salesman. And that's the thing. We've got all these salesmen passing our laws, and all these salesmen running our country, and all these salesmen trying to tell everybody how bad cannabis is. And everybody's buying it. Everybody's buying it. So unless people, like, the politically correct, we're kind of getting off topic, but fuck it. The politically correctness has got to change, or cannabis will never be able to go where we need to go, because everybody's so closed-minded. If it offends somebody, then you've got to change it. So if they legalize cannabis, somebody's going to get offended by it, and then they're going to have to change the laws on that. And I don't give a shit if what I'm doing offends you, then get the fuck away from me. If what I'm doing does no harm to anybody, it doesn't harm anybody, and it does me good, then it shouldn't be chastised. If you can go off and wear a cross around your neck because you want to promote your religion and that makes you feel good and it doesn't affect anybody, and that's great, then why is CBD something that I'm consuming myself? It's not hurting anybody. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. It's just me. Why is that a big deal? Because of money.
It's not just because of money too. It's also because of the lies that people were fed about about the other side of that. Like you're saying, CBD oil isn't the same thing as cannabis and all that, and then people has their stigmas on that, and it's just unfortunately it gets lumped into that whole thing, even though it's not the same exact thing. So
right. Well, what I mean by money is there's so much money in insurance and big pharma that if you have one product that cures everything, you put billions of dollars out of business, and that's good for the.
That's what I was speaking on already too, man. That's the main reason why it's not up there, because you're going to be taking lots and lots and lots of money out of these people's pockets who were taking lots and lots of money out of millions of people's pockets.
So let me just enlighten you guys. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Carrie.
Oh no, what's crazy to me, and this is just, I mean, it really is what it would do right now politically to make it. And I've seen a lot of articles about some people trying to put a bill together to make it federally legal in November. And you know, I mean, the fact that it should be is just that's there. But what like it could do if they governed it under the state liquor authority, and it was governed the same way that liquor was, and let's say cigarettes, you know what I mean? How everything's governed, recreationally at 21 years old, unless it's by doctor's orders, you know what I mean? But that's, you know, for kids to smoke recreationally, like adults do whatever they want. But if they did that, one, you'd have people doing studies on it. It could do so much and make so much money in so many different avenues. It's actually really ignorant of our government not to legalize it and not to do more studies on it. It baffles me. It really does.
Well, it's ignorant, but it's not, because you've got so much money, because it's not just right now. You've got to think about how much money's been invested over the lifetime of politics to have all this big pharma, like Pfizer and all them. It's not just a few people and a couple $1 billion. You're talking hundreds of people, thousands of billions of dollars that have been invested in this industry. You can't just come in and replace it with one product and expect it to have the same impact. It's a big business. Like marijuana is a huge business, but it will never ever be as big as big pharma, because of the fact you have so many different things. You have a pill that will cure diabetes, but it gives you high blood pressure. So now you got to take your high blood pressure medication, but then that blood pressure medication gives you this. So you go in for one thing and come out with 9. They upsell the fuck out of you. You can't do that with cannabis. You can't say, well, here, take this flower and then take this concentrate and then take this oil. You can't do it. You can't upsell anybody with cannabis. It sells itself. You can upsell with big pharma, because you can give them one pill that does one thing, and then you have to treat something else with another. That's the problem with it.
It's always going to be an uphill battle till you're able to get to the top there. But it's big pharma is going to do everything they can, use all the money they can to stop this thing dead in its tracks as soon as they can.
But you want to know what's fucking funny and how you can get away from that? Is to stop buying their products. They can't sell what people won't buy. If we go on a strike and say, look, we're going to use cannabis oil, they can't throw everybody in jail. You know, they go through and throw 25 people in one town in jail for using cannabis oil illegally. Do you think national media is not going to get a hold of that? So you find 20.
But also at the same time, you have to think national media is in some way, shape, or form sponsored or funded by some of those pharmaceutical companies, because that's just how everything works in the world today. So, like for initially that said story that you're talking about will be kept under wraps until word gets out to some of these other media sites and whatnot, and gets out there. But for the way everything works, and people, as crazy as people think Trump is, he's right. A lot of your news sites, they promote fake news.
Oh, everybody does fake news. I mean,
even MMA sites is just as bad. I mean, they take a tweet. They take a tweet from a fighter, becomes an entire article because they sent out a tweet about said fighter that they want to fight this person or whatever. I mean, even I think even last week, all of a sudden, Jessica I put out a tweet that her and men aren't mixing well right now, and all of a sudden there's an article 2 hours later how she's a man hater. I'm like, oh my god, you gotta love the way things come off on social media. It's hilarious.
And if you know Jessica and know how she talks, she's just blunt like that, and like over dramatic kind of. She just says shit like that. Jessica's an awesome person, and yeah, I love Jessica. And actually, she takes some of my CBD oil as well.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. See, there you go.
Just plug that a little bit. I won't say it too loud in case you got that, but it's just it's if you get enough people pounding their chest, people are going to start listening. I mean, if we want to know how to get this legalized, it's not by breaking the law and doing shit like that, but let's let our voices be heard. I'm kind of partial to this since I'm in California, but like the Watts riots weren't about violence. It was about injustice. People not getting what they deserved. They did everything that they could to do the right thing. They went to the city buildings, the state buildings, the county buildings, and tried to get everybody, their legislatures and everybody on board to let them know, what was going on, and nothing was being done, and the last resort was to cause violence and a riot inside of their own neighborhood. And now we've got everybody following that instead of going through the proper channels. If people would stop trafficking and doing dumb shit and just go through the proper channels of trying to get things legalized, we would probably have a lot better chance. Like we're treating cannabis like it's heroin and trying to get it across the border, smuggling it, wrapping it up in tires, and it's just stupid. Like it's stupid. It's not a narcotic. It's not manufactured. It's a natural plant. If we stop treating it as such, like if you had a special handicapped child that didn't need to be in a wheelchair or anything, but just had a mild handicap, are you going to treat them any differently because they have that handicap? Or are you going to treat them like the same of everybody else because you want them to feel the same? Correct?
Absolutely. It's just like that video you see that they did with this. It was they had a 96-year-old man. He was like, he used to be like a news reporter or something like that. Was getting seizures and really bad tremors, but within 2 minutes he went from being the older gentleman on the couch is looking like he's spazzing out to having a full-blown conversation with the guy. Just it's freaking.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that was the. I think that was RSO oil that he took. I don't believe that was CBD, because CBD doesn't work that way. It's not that like. I think that's where the confusion comes from.
Because everyone's thinking that just because it comes from this thing that it's all the same thing. Like that's what I mean. Like it's real important to kind of shed those lines to say this is different from this. This is different from that. So we know. No. I mean,
I believe they have the same medicinal properties. I believe THC has medicinal properties as well, but THC has your psychoactive effects, so it allows your body to calm down. Like it allows me. Sometimes I have like these panic attacks where they're not really panic attacks, but my heart races and my blood pressure goes up, and that's when I know I'm getting ready to pass out, because when my blood pressure goes high, my brain starts to leak. The veins in my brain start to leak. So that's a big problem for me. I could take CBD oil to help prevent it later on, but it's not going to immediately affect me. But I can, go take a bong rip or do a vape. I got vape pens as well that are pure THC and terpenes. I can do one of those, and that will help level me out, because the THC will help level my body down. Your CBD is going to be for your preventative maintenance and to help any kind of injuries from progressing. Your THC is going to be your sedative and something to help for anxiety and things of that nature. I have a lot of people taking CBD for anxiety, and they're like, well, it doesn't really work unless I do this or that. You have to have THC inside your system for anxiety. I'm almost positive of that. It does help take the edge off a little bit, though. But CBD is going to be more for your physical injuries, if that makes any sense. THC is more for your mind and your body, the way you feel, and your emotions, and the CBD is more for your physical injuries.
I mean, this is some great stuff tonight. You know, we're kind of clearing the air on some things. We're getting to the nitty gritty here. And Carrie, you know, you got something you're doing here in a few weeks that, you know, like I said, is not directly related to this, but you know, it's kind of like a seminar type thing, right?
Yeah, in October, I'm still putting together the panel of a couple fighters. If you want to come, it would be great. It's in Boston at a medical marijuana convention. I'm putting a panel together about, you know, people that want to talk about the medical benefits of medical marijuana, CBDs, whatever, have you break it down. However, you know, it's I want to get the word out there, and the stigma needs to be lifted, especially for athletes in any sport, anybody that sustains an injury. I mean, I don't want to sound
when in October,
you know, like
is it?
I think it's in Boston, and I'm pretty sure it's in early October. I'm going to find out the dates tomorrow.
Can you get me on the panel there?
I'm putting it together, so yes, you're on the panel. Can you get me some fighters
I will
that
fly
will
out
come
to
and
Boston.
discuss it?
I will fly out to Boston to do that.
Hey, look at that.
Some fighters
Do a
that,
podcast.
Big names
We
that
get connections being made.
I need at least one big name of a fighter that would come and talk about it too.
I can. Let me ask. Let me see what I can do for you. I've got. Let me see what I can do.
It's a huge weekend. I have a couple people in New York that said they would want to go as long as they're not, you know, nothing's in conflict. I'm like, listen, I'm not asking you to come down and get, you know, twisted. I'm just asking you to come down and speak about it, because there is a huge stigma, and if people get that, you know, and stop thinking in that direction that, oh, it's just a stoner thing, and, you know, I hear people, oh, it's dope. No, there's so many medical benefits to it. And, I mean, it's to me, and it is, it's ridiculous. And I'm not anti-pain management, but I am anti-chemical pain management. That's, you know, like you said, that it's made. I want natural pain management. You won't see people going into rehab. You won't see people going into jail. You won't see people killing themselves. You won't see all these problems that are going on. People are being medically, they're medically sick through what they're taking, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's put it in perspective. How many marijuana-related deaths have you ever heard about?
None. Peanuts are worse for you.
Right. So
that's
now,
the beautiful thing about that one, because you look at it, you know, no one, because it's at the point that your body just goes to sleep and shut down before you could ever reach that level. So
you can't overdose.
The only thing that marijuana could be reliable for is diabetes.
And is that from eating too much garbage?
And from eating too much garbage food. That's the only thing.
Am I right?
But
then
that goes back into our whole thing that it's a choice. It's not a disease. It's a choice. You chose to eat all that food. Like, okay,
right.
like let's just say for argument's sake that, you know, a couple hours before the show tonight that I consumed either THC or some type of CBD oil. I made a choice to go make a fruit smoothie instead of eating all the freaking chocolate and potato chips or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a choice. Everyone has their own way, you know.
But no, I think I
always
can
say the
definitely
worst
get
thing
I can
that
get
it's
a couple
gonna lead
people
you
some, I think.
The refrigerator. So the worst thing that'll
Thank
lead you to
I
is the refrigerator.
Yeah, you know, the worst thing I ever murdered was a bag of Doritos. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going out killing anybody. And the last thing I've ever met is somebody that is either smoking CBDs, THC, whatever, a combination of everything. I've never met a person
Well,
that's a violent.
that's the one part where Rogan was right. Like, you go back and look at some of the things like early 1900s when, you know, regulations and stuff were really starting to get out, like stuff they used to say about even cocaine, like back what they used to say, like if you give cocaine to black people, they will rape and murder everyone and take your wives. And I'm like, what the hell is this nonsense? It just shows you like there's so many stigmas surrounding so many different things, regardless if it's something illegal and bad or even illegal. But as Franklin said, there's so many applications you could use. Not just CBD oil, but THC, etc. It's just, it really is, something that would hurt Big Pharma, and that's why, we're still sitting there having conversations like this because of what the potential damage to those, corporate companies' pockets that this would cause.
And kind of to touch on this real quick, it's not just Big Pharma that's fucking people either. It's also these cannabis companies. When I first started the Terp House, I started a campaign called #ShowMeYourTerps. What I wanted to do with that is to have people test their products. When you go to a dispensary and grab up your vape pen, go test it, make sure it is what it is, because we had tested people's products, like big name products like Brass Knuckles, Heavy Hitters, Loud Packs, all this, and they all claim like this high potency, and then when we tested it, it's nowhere near the potency, and the reason being is they cut it down with junk.
Now, now you stand by your product, obviously. Where where do you feel you stand as far as when you compare, the quality of product, how it's presented, etc. How do you feel you stand up against some of these other companies that are out there?
All right, well, I'm going to keep this 100%. If you're talking about my CBD line,
wait, can I make a joke?
There's nobody. Go ahead.
Keep it 420%.
Go ahead, Karen.
Keep it 400%.
He usually does, man. If you go and look on his social media, he doesn't care. If you don't like it, F you. If you don't like my opinion, go to F somewhere else. He does not care. He does not care.
I am a straight shooter. So if you're talking about my CBD, there's nobody on the planet that can touch my CBD. Nobody, because my packaging is slick. The quality is there. There's nobody on the planet that can touch my CBD oil. I'll put it up against anybody. I'll give a money-back guarantee to anybody that's using a competitor's product. If you use my oil and say it's not even any better, I will buy both of those bottles back from you.
Now, what's the difference? What's the difference between you and, product B?
Because I don't use any fillers. I use MCT oil, and I use terpenes, and then I use my CBD. I don't use, I don't gun it down with a bunch of shit. When I say it's 1,200
so you're just going to have a
milligrams,
higher percentage no matter what they do. Is that what you're saying?
Because I don't dilute any of my, whatever I put on my label is what's in my product. Like my THC pens, my vape pens, if it says there's 80% THC in there, you can take it to the fucking bank that when you test it, there's going to be 80% in there. So, but what we've done is we found people that are like, highest potency on the market, like Heavy Hitters. They don't put their testing results on there, but they put highest on the market. And we tested them, and they're at 52%. I'm at 80%. So how in the fuck are they the highest on the market? They're not. What they're doing is people don't understand. They're saying, they use this or that for their wax. No, they don't. What they're using is they're using shatter, breaking shatter down that's made with butane. It's an extraction process that they take butane, extract the THC from the plant, make wax, and then they put that into a closed loop system and make their clear oil. That's how they're making it because it's the cheapest. I make my oil off of organic trim. I don't use nubs or anything like that because it's super fucking expensive. So I use my trim. I don't use shake or any of that bullshit, but I use trim. And I don't use blown down wax or any of that. The reason you use wax is because you already have a high concentrate of THC at that point. You're taking 70% to make it 90% instead of taking something that's 22% and making it 90%. You're getting more yield that way, if that makes sense. So they're using their wax. Nobody knows how this shit's made. Nobody's showing the system. The cannabis industry is so black market. Nobody is showing you how they do things. Nobody wants to tell you how they mix their ingredients. Nobody wants to tell you their ratios. Nobody wants to show you their testing results.